We have been talking about how Indian crafts are actually valued, how Indians are valued. In fact, if I'm talking about, say, 10, 15 years ago, if I spoke about design, it was by default fashion. If I said I wanted to do spaces or I wanted to, do something in the whole spatial design or, if I'm talking about design in general, people didn't connect with it. But that doesn't really mean that we do not have craftsmen, we don't have the techniques, we don't have, these artisans or, we have a very strong skill set when it comes to making furniture pieces or techniques from inlays to carvings to things. But somewhere in this whole journey of bringing design in India, we kind of lost the very roots with respect to taking them forward. If I'm so I'm an educator, I've been teaching for a while, and when I talk to my students, when I'm discussing, what do they plan to do with a certain space, their examples, as we said, it's all around Google search. And sadly, anything and everything is what the West is doing. If, if I say, okay, how do you want to approach this space? They will never talk about the Indian techniques. They will, using inlays or using carvings or the typical Indian furniture pieces is not something that they like doing. They say, okay, we'll go minimal, we'll be absolutely, they'll follow the modern concept. If we're talking about, say, disruptive innovation, we're talking about creativity. In institutes right now, and that's something I really want to know because I would want the students to actually start approaching that. How do we make them believe in what India has? Again, like we were saying, design is that trust factor is not there. Whenever we are giving an example, we're talking about what is done in Europe or what is done in Italy. And whenever I'm teaching my students, I'm like, okay, do not forget you're designing a space for India, right? You need to understand what the people are, what they connect with. And when we talk about sustainability, we talk about planning. India was something, when we go back to the ancient times, we were the most, we were the strongest with respect to planning. Right now, sadly, I stay in Gurgaon, there is zero planning. There is nothing called planning. How do we encourage students? And just saying, okay, read, what was done. As we were saying, we only talk about the past. History may not really, excite them as much, but how do we, in an innovative way, make them understand that yes, we're very, very strong in what we actually have, and even if we have to have a contemporary twist to what we did traditionally, how many brands do we have which are selling other than, everything that's made in Muradabad or it's made in Badoi. Badoi is all about carpets. Muradabad, we have a whole set of people working with glass. We're talking about Saharanpur. How many of, everything just gets exported. How many furniture or, how many stores we have which are present in India, which are kind of taking that ahead. How do we encourage the students to actually learn a lot more? They don't know about half the skill sets that are available in India, the kind of craftsmanship which is available here. That is something that I would really like to do because I'm always telling them, okay, look around, see what you have. Don't always take something or don't get inspired by something which is done elsewhere. See what you have. How do we approach that?
I think this is a really interesting question. In my kitchen at home, I have an Indian shelving unit. I absolutely love it. I saw one in Goa and I thought, I need one of those. Do you know, when it took me months and months and months to track down how I could get one in the UK. And I finally found a company that were exporting them from India. And when I told Indian friends that I'd got this, what do you want one of those for? And it's beautiful. And everyone that comes to my house says, that's fabulous. And I say, oh, yes, well, you won't get one here. But that's exactly what you're talking about. There's no appreciation of what you do here. I appreciate it. I don't want to travel the world and see design that's completely homogenous, that's the same everywhere. I want to see the unique, the innovative, and I want to see the heart and soul from the country that I'm in. And I think we should really stand up and fight for that and appreciate it. I think what you were saying about the way that it was recognised what that future of the IT industry would be and how that's now really come through into those huge companies. The key is absolutely to promote design education now and to help those students understand their own aesthetic.
One good way to introduce students, and this is something that I've seen, it used to happen in India also at one point. It's just that I think over the years we feel that we have living craft practices and we don't encourage students to visit museums. So museums are a place of learning where in a specific space, because it's not possible to visit too many places to understand techniques and ideas and innovations across regions. So that's one good starting point. And I've noticed, I mean, like, again, I'm giving Korea as an example because it's something that I've appreciated out there. So they have a designated day that is allocated to museum visits. So one day in a week, which in Korea is Wednesday, all their tourist buses are plying school children to museums. And museums are hubs of learning, which is so wonderful. So they have volunteer guides who tell them stories about the city, typically people who live in that city. And the stories are varied. So there would be personal experiences, historical experiences, the origin of a name, why it came about. And this is something that they do on a regular basis. So the moment a child, and this is from school level. So when in school you're already visiting museums, by the time you're in college, you already know where your reference comes from. So that's a great way to get started. And this is something that I noticed even in Edinburgh. I was there recently. And they have these volunteers, history students who volunteer as part of Sandman tours. And they take you around the city telling you these stories. So perhaps design students, I mean, like as a module, you could encourage your students to learn about a certain area and build a story around it and share that story with their juniors. You see, so because if you don't know, you're not curious. And if you don't know, you don't appreciate. You see, so it's all ties in together.
There's a very tiny bit that in India specifically, if we're talking about museums, people don't connect with them as experiences.
I know.
That is also, I mean, recently I've been in touch with, a firm I used to work with, Arcom. They have something called the Design Factory. And they are coming up with these museums, the J.P. Narayan Museum, which is a museum of socialism. They're more experience-based. And I think as designers, as people who curate spaces, I think we need to now also look at, I mean, if you look at the Smithsonian's, you go there, you can spend the whole day just learning from them. Right now, if I tell my students to go to the Museum of Natural History, they'll go in and come out in minutes because they will not be able to connect with it, right? So maybe if you're talking about design, we literally connect with NID as the only design institute. People don't, in India, generally, if you talk, they will not know anything else. NIFT, they will have a lot of them. But when I say NID, okay, that's the only place. So maybe design now needs to become an everyday kind of scenario where even if you're moving around, when cities are being done, this experience, as you were saying, the city walks is something where I think what our roots are, they need to be more out there, and we need to stop going on just replicating what we're seeing abroad. I think that is very...
Well, I wouldn't say that we don't have to replicate. It's not a question of replicating. It's about imbibing the good elsewhere, and incorporating it within your own social dynamics. Because we learn from each other. I mean, like there was a time. I mean, like, if you visit the museums in England, they have a lot of our textiles. So there was a reason why they had all our textiles, so much of it out there. You know, it was part of their mobile museums, and it was part of learning for their young design students. So which worked very well for them, didn't it? So no harm in us also taking tips from other places and trying and improving, because we've got so much within. It's just that I think we have so much of everything that we somehow don't know how to sift through it all and enable our young people to seek and appreciate. And that is what, like, there was a time, in fact, I mean, there'll be a lot of people here who would be familiar. There used to be this wonderful place called the Craft Museum.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's there, but it's not the way it used to be. You know? Yeah.
Thought with the permission of the chair, fact that you've been talking about NID, yes, I'm a blessed student, a student from NID, and also being a part of NID just now. Other blessing, yes, I've been practicing craft since now 3 decades. I feel so happy about it. Trying to answer or trying to work practice-based would be a very important thing. But when you're talking about practice-based, it has to be mentored with the people who have been working into this sector, because many times students do that, but they don't know how to connect few things and how do they take it forward. The journey becomes important. Second point, I would also like to, today's students or today's thing are very much into technology, and they want to adopt it or combine it with that. One example to share with that, there is a exhibition going at the Heritage exhibition at National Museum, okay, National Museum, and where NID and IIT both were there, but they've used 3D technology, 3D printing thing to create architectural spaces, like the temple Hampi project is what we have done. So how combining the technology to do, of course it's architecture and heritage, but I see a great possibility into the using of textiles. Oral traditions need to be captured. Today's technology is important. Augmented reality, all that is there, but should be used there? Also trying to reconnect what, have we really worked to create one single brand to talk about textiles? Our every village talks about as textile. And like somewhere, what are the no names? 10 names, Banaras or this and this, Chanderi. Somewhere that needs to be done. So all that coming. One do talk about in the Delhi University, there's a program by name Enactus. I have interacted with some of them, and I thought it was an amazing program. With a little knowledge what I have it, or I have interacted with some of the students, they adopt a cluster. Sorry for this. They adopt a cluster, and batch after batch, the students keep working. So it's not that every batch come with one independent one. So there is a consistency. The seniors mentor the juniors, and this process goes on. And they are getting into a lovely fact of entrepreneurship. So there's many examples. I say that there's a great world, and I'm so happy that's been talked about. Thank you.
Okay, and then